Hello, I'm Tracy Johnson, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Rural Hollywood, a show that takes an in-depth look at the movie industry in the Southeast and beyond. On today's episode, we will be covering filmmaker Eric Simmons of the Diamond Dust Productions, who's in pre-production on his debut feature film, Be My Love. And we'll also give you a news update of some of the recent events in the movie industry. You'll definitely want to tune into that. In our first segment, I'll sit down with director Cassandra Hollis. Cassandra Hollis, she's been making an impact in the world of Christian filmmaking. You guys definitely want to catch that. We're back at Atlanta, and this time I am joined by the lovely Miss Cassandra Hollis. She's very talented, multi-talented, got so much going on. And what's most interesting to me is, I'll let her tell you. How are you doing, Miss Cassandra?
Wonderful. So happy
Thank you
to
so
be
much
here
for being
with
here.
you. Thank you.
Beautiful.
You are too. Thank you. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your career before becoming a filmmaker.
Yes, well, thank you for the opportunity to be here with you. It's a wonderful program. I started out like many who study communications, kind of on the journalism route, actually.
Okay.
And I went to the University of Georgia for undergrad and interned at CNN, interned at V103 as a news reporter intern at the time. And I was just on the journalism track. And after undergrad, worked in radio for a little while. I produced a nationally syndicated radio program called Focus on Women.
Okay.
And after that, I began to really think, well, I really want to work in television.
Okay.
And decided to go back and get my master's degree. Got a master's degree, and at the time I studied directing, producing, and not just in the journalism end. And that was where my interest in filmmaking really was sparked. I didn't realize it at the time. I was still kind of on the television track.
Right.
And then I went to work for a local television station, WATC, and worked there for a while. And while there, I was the producer of a nightly live talk show, and had the opportunity to meet a lot of choirs and professional artists who were singing nationally, locally. And one of those groups invited me to produce a music video for them. Okay. And it was the experience of producing the first music video that was my entree, so to speak, into filmmaking.
Wow.
So
now, you've got your talents, not with the twist, but you've added and gone beyond just the everyday stuff that we see out here. Like what was your inspiration to do Christian themed projects? Because I understand that's what you're currently into.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
Wonderful.
Oh,
that's
thank
real
you.
wonderful.
Well, yes, my production company is Holy Hill Productions.
Holy Hill Productions, okay.
In 2002, and actually, the experience of producing the music videos, I produced one for Generation J, that was the one that I was mentioning earlier, and also for Dr. Creflo Dollar and the Changing Your World Mass Choir.
Right.
And they were themed videos in that they weren't just performance-oriented. We were telling a story in both of those music videos. And so it was sort of like filmmaking. And I received so much feedback in terms of how people were blessed and just received the message, or even deliverance in some cases. And it just were blessed by the stories that we were telling in the music videos. Right. And so that was what kind of sparked that desire. And I began to research and saw that there was this whole genre of Christian filmmaking. And this was before the Passion of the Christ, which introduced it to the world. The fact, what it introduced to the world was the fact that, there's a mainstream audience who could be attracted to stories that tell Christian themes as well as the Christian community. But that was really what sparked it, the music videos.
Now, do you write your own treatments for the music videos, or do you get input, or do you just listen to the song and then you can just put it all down?
Actually, with those particular music videos, I did write the treatments. The first group, they had an idea of what they wanted to do with the story. And so I took those ideas and put it together. Wow. And they were very happy with that. The second one, yes, I did write that one. And with the films that I've produced, I've written and directed and produced, worn the different hats, literally, figuratively, for my films as well. So yes, I've written them.
Tell us a little bit about The Altar.
Wow, yes. The Altar, well, first of all, I should say it stars Elizabeth Lamalami. She's a
Okay.
local, wonderful, talented actress. She was in Ray. She's in Glory Road currently.
Okay.
And she's the daughter of Hosea Williams, and she's taken the
Oh,
baton
yeah,
from him and is
yeah.
now leading Hosea Williams' Feed the Hungry organization.
Right.
And it also stars LaParie Young and just some more wonderful, talented members of the cast. The story is the story, the story of The Altar is the story of a woman who starts out successfully in her career. She's an attorney, she's happily married, and they have a wonderful child. And then a drastic turn of events sort of change things in her life, and she ends up homeless. And without giving all the details, it's sort of a story of redemption. It shows how her faith was restored despite, some of the destructive things that happened in her life. And I won't tell all of the details, but it's certainly a story of redemption, of love, of faith. A lot of twists and turns to the story.
I'm excited
And,
about it. I
okay,
can't wait to
great,
see it.
great. Yes, yes.
What was your inspiration for that particular film project?
Actually, I was inspired to show a three-dimensional character who was homeless.
Wow.
And it was almost, I just felt this burden one day. I was actually working on another script.
Okay.
And I'm sure it was the Lord who just kind of gave me a burden to do more for homelessness in the way that He was instructing me to do it. Because I've volunteered, I've contributed, as we all do. But this was just another way to present a character who was just, a human being, wonderful person. Sometimes people don't see the humanistic side of the homeless.
Right.
And
You're
she's
right.
A three-dimensional, intelligent person who, through a series of events, ended up in this situation. And so that was really the inspiration behind
Wow.
it.
Wow.
And to show the role that faith played in restoring her.
You. This is the dreamiest one yet. What you trying to do to me? I can't concentrate. I know. Nah, I don't care if I win that case or not. Oh, honey. I love you muchly. Bye-bye. Hi.
I did good today.
Oh, mwah, you sure been good.
Bro, what time you gonna work there, girl?
I'm going in a couple of minutes. I got 2 closings today, and I have to go be at court all day long.
All day?
All day, all afternoon.
That hurt. Hey, boy, how you doing? Oh, he's drinking.
Dude. That's a good boy. You want some cereal?
Working that juice.
Ooh, that's mama's baby. Mwah. Lord, how many times have I told that man not to let that baby ride that trike near the street?
Wow, the power of faith, you guys.
Yes.
It's huge. You guys, make sure you look out for this film project, The Altar. Now,
Thank you.
I know you have another project.
Yes.
Maddie, Johnny, and Smooth White Stones. Tell us a little bit about that project. The title, everything, like
Yes.
everything, everything.
Oh, wow. That is just a phenomenal experience. The story of making Maddie, Johnny, and Smooth White Stones is just really phenomenal experience. It began with a project that I was working on for my church.
Okay.
And for Black History Month.
Okay.
We were just looking for a theme to do in the church. And I researched the Underground Railroad and started finding narratives of actual slaves who had escaped. And I was just taken aback by it because for myself, I had never really grasped or wrapped my mind around the fact that they would literally run off. Sometimes they were led by the conductors,
Right.
but some of them didn't know where they were headed. They would just run off and by faith make it to their destination. So Maddie, Johnny, and Smooth White Stones is the story of a couple who are in love. They happen to be slaves, and they decide they're going to escape on the Underground Railroad. Their plan goes awry, and I won't give that whole plot, but we see the journey of a slave who is escaping and what that's like. And that was really what we wanted to capture on film. And
Wow.
it's really resonated well with school groups, with children, and it's now in distribution with schools and libraries. And we just recently completed shooting part 2. Because audiences
Wow.
are so excited about the story and they want to know what happens next between
Right,
Maddie and
right,
Johnny.
right.
Yes.
Which is good. That's good
Yeah,
that
that's
they
a
are
good thing.
hungry for more.
Johnny told me to make like I was going to get fresh flowers from Lady Tyler up the road. Missy let me do that sometime. He said slip off the side road running to the woods. Said if I run straight, I start to see the white marks on the trees where the slave catchers caught runaways. They marked the trees to scare other slaves from running to it. That's exactly where the tree with the smooth white stones is. Right by all the other trees with the white mark. But I couldn't find them stones nowhere.
Lord, I'm lost. Help me. Lord, help me find the stones, Lord. I don't know where to go, Lord. Help me. Help me find the stones.
Now, tell me a little bit about the organization you're involved with.
Oh, yes, thank you. It's called the Hollywood Prayer Network.
Okay.
And I was recently selected as the new associate director of the Atlanta chapter.
Wow,
And I
that's
just wanted
big.
to thank you. I just wanted to say to the whole filmmaking community in Atlanta that we receive prayer requests. It is an organization of intercessory prayers based in Hollywood. It was formed about 4 years ago.
Okay.
I've been a member for the last 3 years. And basically we receive the prayer request from the industry, from executives to actors, directors, and it's just a group of Christians who are in the industry, as well as just anyone who wants to, I guess, support the mission field of Hollywood, so to speak. So I just want to invite the Atlanta filmmaking community to email us with your prayer requests. You can send them anonymously. Our email address is atlhpn@yahoo.com.
And we'll throw that up. We'll throw that up for you guys and give them a number.
Well, we don't really, well, they can reach me at 678-595-0995.
Okay.
And that's also Holy Hill Productions.
And you guys make sure you write down the contact information that she gave you. That definitely sounds like something that we all should be trying to take advantage of. We all need each other. We need God, and so you get in there and you do the right thing, things will come to you Without a doubt. It's been a pleasure sitting here talking to you.
likewise.
I've enjoyed it so much.
me too.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
I
Thank
wish
you
you
for
the best of
having
luck
me.
in your career, everything that you have going on, and definitely keep Rural Hollywood posted. We want to have you here every time you have something big come out. You want to bring you here so that we can give it to our people first.
Thank you so
Thank
much. I
you.
certainly will.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sheba Mahajer, and here's what's going on in the world of Hollywood. The Associated Press reported that in 2005, Hollywood had the biggest decline in movie theater attendance in 20 years. Experts differ on the reason behind the drop-off, but a big turnaround is expected in 2006. The Hollywood Report states that the Dave Chappelle Show is returning for a third season without Dave Chappelle. Comedy Central has decided to air footage from episodes shot before Chappelle abandoned the series. It is still not clear if Dave Chappelle will ever return to the show. Variety reports that Jim Carrey and director Tim Burton will team up to make a biopic on Robert Ripley, the explorer and newspaper columnist who created Ripley's Believe It or Not. Next up, Tracy Johnson will be speaking with Eric Simmons of Diamond Dust Productions, who wrote and soon will be directing his first full-length feature film, Be My Love.
Thank you, Atlanta. I am glad you are staying tuned in right here with us on Rural Hollywood. As promised, the second segment of the show, I am joined by the wonderful producer, Mr. Eric Simmons. Mr. Simmons, thank you so much for being here with us. How are you today?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you, Tracy, for having me.
No problem at all. We are delighted to have you. Let's just get right into it.
Okay.
Filmmaking. What was your inspiration from day one with getting into filmmaking?
My inspiration from day one was actually my oldest daughter.
Okay.
She was in high school. She came to me and she said, "Hey, Dad, I want to be a screenwriter and a director. Can you help me?"
Okay.
I said, "Fine." So I went out and I purchased editing suite of software, 3 CCD cameras, sound equipment. I even built a studio in our basement of our home. And said,
Wow.
"Okay, baby, hey, you ready to get started? Let's do this."
The whole shebang.
The whole shebang. And she came to me a little while later and said, "Oh, Daddy, I'm having a little bit of writer's block."
Wow.
So now I've got all this equipment, so I decided to myself, well, let me go ahead and do something of my own.
Wow.
And I said, okay, well, let's go ahead and do it. But in my past, even prior to that, but she was my inspiration.
Okay.
But I've been on like 5 different television game shows.
Okay.
When I was in Los Angeles during the 80s, I was on Love Connection, Win, Lose, or Draw, Scrabble, Match Games, Categories, and just recently, about 2 years ago, I did an episode of While You Were Out.
Wow, that's pretty big. That's pretty big.
I've done 2 commercials that are airing right now on Comcast Spotlight.
Okay.
I've produced a marketing video for Discovery Point Daycare.
Okay.
And right now I'm an executive producer on the Super Fun Show, hosted by Sean Brown.
Okay.
And he's a children's edutainer.
Okay.
And I go out and I basically produce, edit, and film all of his shows.
Okay, okay. Tell me a little bit about, let me ask you this first.
Okay.
I know that you have a feature film coming up. You're
Yeah.
about to go into production.
Yep.
You got any jitters?
I'm very
Are you nervous?
You know, this is the first time I've taken on a feature-length film.
Exactly.
But this has been something that I've had a lot of support with from a lot of friends that actually work in the industry that have just stepped up and given me a hand. Nick Conti from the Professional Actors Studio.
Very familiar name.
He stepped up and he said, "Hey, Eric, if you need some help, you've got my studio." I was able to do casting and everything right in his studios.
Wow.
And a majority of the people that are cast in this project are from the Professional Actors Studio. Yeah.
Share with us the whole plot, everything that
Okay.
you want the city to know about this feature film that's going to be coming out real soon.
Okay. Be My Love started from 2 16th century poems.
Okay.
One is written by Christopher Marlowe called The Passionate Shepherd to His Love.
Okay.
And it's about a sheep herder in the 16th century
Okay.
that saw a wood nymph and fell in love with her. And
Wow.
decided if I would give her these opulent things, that maybe she would come live with me and be my love. And it just really struck close to heart. I couldn't believe it. I loved it as I read through it. Then I read Sir Walter Raleigh's version of the nymph's reply to the shepherd,
Okay.
which was Sir Walter Raleigh's perspective on what the nymph would have replied to this so-called shepherd wanting her to come live with him and be his love.
Okay.
And literally, the nymph, from his perspective, was saying, if you could love me for every day of my life, if you can make me look this beautiful for every day of my life, if you can make me happy every single day of my life and never age, then maybe I will come live with you and be your love.
Wow.
Literally, it was a slap in the face. I mean, because we didn't have plastic surgeons back in the 16th century to be able to fulfill her promise.
Right, right.
But it was like a slap in the face saying, hey, you know, if you were the last man on God's green earth, I might come live with you and be your love.
Okay.
Well, I felt it wasn't fair to Christopher Marlowe because Christopher Marlowe, unfortunately, died in a barroom brawl in the 16th century. So he didn't have an opportunity to reply back to what Sir Walter Raleigh did.
Wow.
So, and if you watch the movie Shakespeare in Love, they mention how Christopher Marlowe died.
Okay.
Because it was like one of those things that came to them, and they were like, what happened? What happened? Christopher Marlowe died. He got into a fight in a bar, and he was killed.
Wow.
And so, who's left to refute Sir Walter Raleigh in behalf of Christopher Marlowe? I decided I would step forward and be that one.
I hear you, brother. I hear you, and I'm not mad at you. How long was the script process? Like, how long was the whole process?
Whoa, the script process, the initial writing of the script took me probably about 3 weeks.
Okay.
I just started writing and just couldn't stop. I came out with 80 pages of the script.
Wow.
Then a close friend of mine, Thomas Elliott, who's also an actor and also one of the producers and assistant director on this project, brought to me a young lady who has assisted me in editing it and adding some additional things to the point that we've gotten maybe 125 pages of dialogue now.
Wow, that sounds wonderful, exciting. What's the when are you guys scheduled to begin shooting?
Well, right now what we're doing is we're having to change from being a straight indie film. We're going to become a SAG indie now.
Oh, okay.
Because there's some actors out there that we want to bring into the picture to give us an opportunity to get better opportunity for distribution.
Right, okay.
We spoke with Bill Vanderkloot of Magic Lantern Studios, who's really well known in the post-production area around here. And we talked to him about what we were doing, and he really loved the concept of the film.
Wow.
But he said in order for us to really be taken seriously by a distribution company, we're going to have to bring in some named actors. And so in order for us to bring in named actors, which are SAG, we're going to have to go SAG indie. So we're going to go modified low budget, which will allow us $650,000 in the budget.
Wow.
So we're not at that height of our budget, but it just throws us in there, and it gives us the paperwork and everything that we have to do to get the SAG people in.
Exactly.
So there's
I think
a lot
that
involved.
SAG attachment actually gives value to your projects as well. That's a good move.
So we're excited about that, and I was excited the fact that Bill Vanderkloot took out the time to sit down with me and talk with me about it and everything. And this man's a busy guy. He's been throwing out millions of dollars to other projects and doing different things, and he's been around the indie world for quite a while. So his advice came really at a great time.
You have any advice for any young, upcoming producer, director, actor, anybody that desires to do what you do?
Well,
you wear a lot of hats.
The advice that I would give to anyone like that is work on as many projects as you can. And I understand that it is difficult and it's tough because not a lot of funding is found here in Georgia, unfortunately.
Why do you think that is?
Because most people here in the South don't really understand the film world too much just yet. It's building up slowly. For me, looking at serious investors, I literally have to go back to Los Angeles, where they understand a little bit more about it. You know, I have to bring my reels and show them everything that I've done, and it's a little bit easier getting them to invest in your film than someone out here. I mean, I've already asked friends and family that are out here.
Right.
No response. I go out there and talk to some of my other friends that I have in the area, and they're like, well, okay, well, let me know, let me see your budget, let me see what's going on. They open that door to the possibility, even though they may or may not actually do it, but they want to sit down and see what you got going on. They want to see how serious you are.
Right. Well, God's going to do some wonderful things in your life. Mr. Eric Simmons, y'all, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I look forward to hearing all the wonderful things you're
And
doing.
give me that headshot.
I certainly will. I will. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I am now joined by the lovely Miss Jennifer Osberg. She is actually a cast member. She wears a lot of hats for this project, Be My Love. I'm going to let her tell you all about them. We're going to get right into the questions. I know you guys are itching and anxious about this project. We heard from Mr. Eric Simmons before. Now we're going to hear from Miss Jennifer. Thank you so much for joining us, Jennifer. You look beautiful.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
How long have you been seriously acting? First, are you from Atlanta?
No, I'm actually from Columbus, Georgia.
Columbus,
Yeah, I'm
Georgia.
from Columbus, Georgia. I'm a Georgian. It's a rare thing for Atlanta.
Same thing. When did you make the transition from Columbus to Atlanta, and is that when you decided to get into acting?
Gosh, I've been all over the place, I guess. I left Columbus in '88.
Okay.
Went to D.C., New York for a little while.
Okay.
Went to Switzerland and Germany.
Wow.
And finally came back 3 years ago to good old Georgia.
You've been all over, and this is the
Yeah.
settle ground.
Yeah.
You've been acting now for how long?
I guess, I'd say all in all, around 15 to 20 years off and on, seriously since I was in high school.
Right.
I was entered into a one-act play competition in my high school in Columbus, Georgia, and just absolutely fell in love with the whole idea of acting.
Just passion, true passion.
I will say this, though. I moved on from sort of a theater-style acting into film, thinking of it almost as if it were art, with watercolor. It's kind of like, theater. It's unforgiving. You make a mistake, it's out there.
Right.
You're exposed. And with film, you can hone it and edit it and perfect it until it's exactly what you want, more like an oil painting.
Right, wow.
And that's really kind of the way I look at it, that's why I love film, because you can make it perfect.
Let's move to Be My Love.
Oh, yes.
Be My Love.
The project of fun.
What was your motivation for auditioning for Be My Love?
Well, what can you say about romantic comedies?
I know.
I mean, they're everywhere. They're almost like, dime a dozen in a certain way.
Right.
And when I saw Eric's script, I was like, something, this has something really special, because he's taking something from literature, something from ancient literature,
Right.
a concept of a way of thinking that people had hundreds of years ago,
Right.
and connecting it to us here, in the modern world. And I thought, this is a tremendous take on the whole romantic comedy thing.
I wanted to ask you this. Speaking to you before we came on air, I understand that you do more than just portray a character in the film Be My Love. You actually wear a couple of different responsibilities. You mind sharing those with us?
Oh, sure. I mean, I've been working with Eric on a lot of the writing. We've worked
Wow.
together on casting. I actually did a lot of casting work for the previous film I was in, which is called Hell's End.
Okay.
It's a World War II piece.
Okay.
And it's basically like a horror sci-fi film that's set in World War II.
Okay.
And I did a lot of the casting work for that, because that film's bilingual. It's both in German and in English.
Wow.
So I've been doing that. That's my first really, I think, go with film casting.
Right.
I've done a lot of theater stuff, but really film casting is really special. And when we did the casting for this film, it was very involved.
Wow.
There were at least 3 or 4 people for every role, waiting for
Just
a
waiting.
chance. Oh,
Wow,
yeah.
that's when you know you've got something really good.
Oh, it's just so competitive.
Wow.
So.
It's been so wonderful sitting here just having the conversation with you. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for Mr. Simmons. I'm excited for Be My Love. You guys really seem to have your things together and headed in great places. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you so
much for
much.
joining us. We'd like to thank our guests, Cassandra Hollis, Eric Simmons, and of course Jennifer Osberg, for their appearing on our show. We appreciate it greatly, you guys. We'd also like to thank you, the viewers, for joining in. We appreciate you. You have no idea how much. So be sure to tune in next time for another episode of Rural Hollywood. Take it easy, y'all.